Now, one of the most important parts of this journey, everybody thinks it's going to be the next peptide or the next supplement. Intra-workout carbs has become monstrous for me. It gives you that extra pump. I mean, I slam about, I don't know, 50 or so grams of carbs before I come here. Well, here's an extra 40 straight to the dome while you work out. That shit's next level. You just look like a bit of a drug addict while you're doing it. No towels. I'm just going to wipe the powder on myself. It'll make it look like I'm really in the zone too. All right, let's go have some fun.
Out in the six, I'm a national treasure. The niggas that bad me gon' bad me forever. R.I.P. Kobe, but y'all niggas brokey. That's probably why y'all be shacking together. Capo and Leader got habits together. Like couples vacation, they packing together. Like rushing to finish, they'll slap it together. The charges like COVID, they'll catch it together.
Do a little pull today. This is actually my strongest day, so you guys will get a good show. Another Jacob Pro lifting tip. Get yourself some wrist straps. Everybody bitches and says, oh, you're losing the forearm gains when you give up the grip. No, dummy. You use the grips after the forearms go. That way you can still use the back and not have to give out on your forearms. What's a bigger muscle group, forearm or the back? What do you think is going to give out when you're trying to row 300 plus pounds? Got to think. A lot of people think these muscle guys are stupid. They're using more brains than anybody. And then there's the next level where you become a chemist and you start making your own potions. I'm somewhere in there. Not quite in wrist strap territory yet, but we're getting there. Although they do have quite the aesthetic appeal to them. It's like the flag or the ribbons that they give kids when they're little, and do some twirls. It's a little bit gay looking, I'm not gonna lie. What are you gonna do? You wanna look gay or jacked? Sometimes it's gotta be both. Sacrifices. One more warm up, then we'll go bananas. All right, now we're gonna go bananas. I know the comments are coming. That's too heavy, you're not controlling the weight. You're just throwing it around. Shut up, it works. Everyone's body's different, but we're gonna do more contraction after. But I like to get just a fat pump in there first. Like Jay Cutler, he follows the whole pump squeeze. So he'll do a heavy movement, a bench, rows, whatever, and then he'll go in and do the cables after. And the first one is all pump, and then squeeze, right? You pull all the muscles together. I don't know, I just kind of follow these guys. But if it works, keep doing it. That's my philosophy. All right, let's get the tunes going. I listen to some of the most heinous shit on the planet. Sometimes it's just screams and robot noises. And then other times it'll be like compilations of like bodybuilders. They all have their own like documentaries. And in those documentaries, it's just them yelling vicious quotes, just hopped up on gear. And then they'll overlay like white girl music behind that or like 3 Days Grace. And any of that I usually can rip to. My max out song has been, for the last, year, 2 years, and will probably remain this, has been Bring Me to Life, Evanescence, or whatever it is. Wake me up! Like this. Just gets you going. So that's probably what we'll have on here. That's exactly what we're gonna have on here. Evanescence, sorry, I pronounced that completely wrong. I don't really look at the phone when the song's playing. Let's get ready to party.
Wake me up inside. I can't wake up. Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from undone. Wake me up. Bid my blood to run. I can't wake up before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I've become.
People comment on this all the time. And my left arm is substantially larger than my right arm. And it's actually pretty noticeable. It's kind of weird. I think it's because I have this little indent in my bicep, if you can see it there, like a misgrowth or something. I don't think there's nerves there. It's really weird. I've had it my whole life. And people always ask, the first question, you think, what do you jerk off, lefty? No, I don't. I actually use my feet. I do what's called the reverse pyramid. So I start at the top and I go down and weight. On the last set, I'll do 3 2 plates one plate until I can't go anymore. The only downside to that, God forbid a hot chick walks by the time I'm on one plate and I'm struggling, not good for the aura. That's why I try to take as much time as possible when there's 4 plates on there. Kind of circle around the machine a little bit so that all the women in here know, and the men, so I can assert dominance, not for anything sexual, so they know I've got 4 plates on there. When the lower plates are on there, I try to be in and out. Does that make me insecure, or does that make me aware of my surroundings? I don't know. All right, speed, speed, speed. No one can see. Who's using that machine? I don't even know. What a pussy. We're gone. Like the wind. I try to leave the 45s on there because it honestly just creates more effort for the next guy. Only 1 plate though. 2 plates would be disrespectful. This is a questionable one on if this is actually beneficial to go this heavy, but you know, typically on anything with a table, there's more of a squeeze in place, but similar concept. I like to get a pump going and then I'll tighten it up. This is practice really, because this is set at 250 for when one day I have a 45-pound plate dangling from my ball sack while I do the pull-ups. That's like the ideal masculine aura farm. You just, boom, you know, an exercise that most people can't even do without weights. You've got 45s hanging from your trunk there. I mean, you gotta wait for the song to pick back up. This is the problem with the edits. They go down these deep valleys before they get to the, God, they're so good at fucking baiting you. Here we go. I know it wasn't the best form. I know. Let me have fun. I'll drop it 60 pounds just for you, Derek. I know you're in the comments. That's not optimal. Shut up. You're right. You're smarter than me, but shut up. Typically in the morning, I like to do fasted abs, because what I'll do with the Tessa IPA, for example, I take that first thing in the morning, typically fasted, so that I can get the growth hormone pulse throughout the day. It's really like a couple hours is where you get the most of it. But I do it in the morning because after sleeping all night, I'm now fasted for whatever it is, 8 to 10 hours. So the fat burning is exceptionally stronger. Now, if I was going for mainly just sleep and all that stuff, I would take it at night. But I do it first thing in the morning. So like today, I woke up at 5:30, 6 a.m., popped the Tessa IPA, didn't start working out until 8:30 because I wanted to get that full time of fasted GH pulse. And I do that with the mots-c, and mots-c is lethal. That stuff is wicked.
Hey, say you sick, leave me come cook shit. Never paid for me clothes like a Drew fits. Late night drive, tell me put the roof room-ish. Posted in the classroom, full because of broke-ish. Get me cool straight.
Minor technical difficulties. We're back. Camera overheated. Speaking of overheating, actually plays very well into the mots-c. I've been doing it every other day instead of every day. And if you're prioritizing fat loss on mots-c, you can do that every single day. But for me, I'm taking it more, well, the fat loss is important, but I want the muscle gain, because with mots-c, you're turning up your mTOR, or limiting your mTOR, one of the two, and it kicks up the AMPK, which affects your mTOR. Your mTOR is what you need in order to actually build muscle. So if that's suppressed for too long, then you're just gonna burn all this fat and waste a little bit of muscle. So if you do it every other day, you still get the muscle building benefits. It actually can block your myostatin a little bit, which will help you build more muscle. But a lot of people mess it up. They're like, oh, I did mots-c. I look, lean, but like I'm skinny. I'm like, well, did you do it every day or every other day? So if you're fat and you wanna get lean every day, if you're lean enough, but you just wanna get like chiseled and still be jacked, every other day. All right, here we go.
Groups tapped in with the Taliban SD kid riding round, I don't give a damn. Fuck bridge starting niet een ludde fucking Kali man. I will liggen in a coat, laat hem liggen. Bad bitch, dark skin, tell her wiggen. Music and some money, I'ma never stop wigging. Party till the morning, tell her never stop twigging.
That's enough of that. That time I initiated the hello. She's quick though. She's a wave. hello, and move on. Come back for my 45s from earlier, waiting for me. Couldn't find a towel. We're gonna be sweaty. Good pump so far. I like back. I never get hurt on back deadlifts. If I overdo it on chest, I'll rip something out of me. Here I can throw weight around or I can contract real tight. That being said, I'm also in like the 10 to 15 rep range. On chest, I'm going for like 2 or 3, so probably got something to do with it. And get my ribbons. This video is just gonna be a form nightmare. I know what's gonna happen on this next one. Everybody and their mother's about to have 2 cents on this. Rule of thumb, you can comment if your arms are bigger than mine, otherwise I don't wanna hear it. But if they are bigger than mine, I'll happily take your advice. You guys are lucky they don't have hundreds here. Otherwise, that's what we'd be doing. I know. I'm swaying. Some people on the bicep curl, they like to lean over. You saw me do that at the end. It makes sense. You know, you're in a more stable position. Your arms are locked out. It just looks kind of retarded, you know? I like to stand up straight, and then I put my elbows like almost on my hips, and I use that kind of like a easy curl or the arm blaster, if you've seen that, where they cuff your arms in. Try to make my own one of those. Not everybody likes it, but it works for me. I like the narrow grip on there too. Too many movements, you can do this. Not many for this. There's not a towel in this place. Look at this. Towels only. Lie. Must be laundry day. Biceps is where you can really notice the difference in the arm size. You know, I've tried everything. If anybody in the comments has a suggestion, I'll gladly take it. I've tried hitting more reps on this side. I've tried different machines to try to reestablish whatever connection is missing here. Can't seem to get anything, but I would love it if this arm got bigger to match this one. I don't really want to make this one smaller to match that one. But if anyone's got something, my ears are open. Oh yeah, look at that. Way different. Arms are nice, quick. You get the pump, it looks good, move on. This one I discovered recently, very helpful with the straps. Now what I do, luckily this is built in an old bank and we have these industrial beams inside the bank. So what I do, I prop my arm up here and I do my curls like this to avoid the swing. But then I got these straps and right when it gets tough, I can actually spot myself pulling up instead of having to do this like awkward motion here. And it's become a very effective arm workout. I only started doing this in the last couple weeks, but you get a good burn on it, like so.
Teach me, baby. Call my phone and say you need me, baby. I'm so green, you gotta teach me, baby.
From Vancouver, you a BC, baby.
Pull up, Maybach, beep, beep, baby. And my shit came with the heat seats, baby. Swear my label gotta free me, baby.
Blow on me just like some green tea, baby. Hey, hey, hey.
Boy, does that hurt. That gets a good pump going. Ooh. I went a little out of order today. I'll usually do biceps first because it's a lagging muscle for me. And then like rear delts and traps and then back. And I get them a nicer shape from the top part, but we'll get that at the end here. This is something I think a lot of people miss out on their pull days. Nobody's doing shrugs anymore because it doesn't like look particularly cool, but that makes such a difference in terms of like just your traps and everything like that on the top and the rhomboids on the back. It gives you those like eye looking divots in your back and it looks mean. That's what you really want right there. And you don't really see them on the bulk all that much, those back pieces, but once the shred comes in, it looks nuts. Unless of course you're using some sort of Tessa Hippo mots-c blend of sorts, and then you can see them the whole time. We're lucky enough to have that opportunity. All right, here we go.
Know you wonder where the FB been, but I'm back to life like an EpiPen. SG still in the leopard skin, and check me out, then check me in. See this coat, nigga? Bye to my old self. Wake up to the new me. I used to be a world star. Now I'm making Newsweek. I used to hang on the 9. Now I bought 2 streets. Cottage Grove to King Drive. Yeah, this life is a movie. Bye to my old self. Wake up to the new me.
Do one more of those, then we'll go in the fun room. That's where we can really go at it. All right, now I'm ready to go in. Now it's crowded. We'll make it work. Woo! Superset this one. For you contraction goblins, you guys will finally be happy. 25 pounds, super light, big squeeze. I'll flare the elbow out, try to get the side of the bicep there, or the inside, one of them, I don't know. Just move the arm. Funny, everybody talks about you gotta do it this way, get this piece. In my experience, whatever you think about is what you're gonna hit. My buddy Nick Walker told me once, if you'll see his videos on his squats and all his leg stuff, he points his toes out like that. And I tried to copy it once, so I was like, hey, I did your toe point out thing on the leg press. I was like, that was the best hamstring workout I ever got. And he was like, glad you liked it, bro, but you know, I do that for quads, but because you were thinking about your hamstrings, it just eviscerated your hamstrings. I was like, oh shit. Now I do it for quads, and I actually think about my quads, but it just goes to show, you can do whatever. Almost all of it's up here. Like if you're not thinking about the body part and you're just doing the movement, it's pointless. So there's little mental tricks for each one of these. You know, when you're doing the bicep, you want to crack the walnut. So like put your forearm to your bicep and see if you can crack the walnut. You should feel the pop in the bicep there, you know.
I'm making my way over to my favorite place. I gotta get my body moving, shake the stress away. I wasn't looking for nobody when you look my way. Possible candidate, yeah.
It's definitely the inside. I thought about it that time. It's the inside. Oh, they're playing Rihanna. I love this song. Have to go. You know what you started. I'm here to party, but now we're rocking on the dance floor. Get to naughty. Hands around my waist. You play.
We're hand in hand, just to trust, and now we're face to face. I wanna take you away. Let's escape into the music. DJ, let it play. I just can't refuse it. Like the way you do, just keep on rocking to it.
I got the white girl music today. Me and the boy. Just doing rows. I was gonna do shrugs with 2 plates. Now I gotta do 3 just to show him I'm not a pussy. Let's see, what can we mix in with this? Actually, I know exactly what to mix in with this. I'm gonna show you guys the secret to girth. Let's throw a 45 on. Absolute girth hack. The right kind of girth. The girth that women really care about. The traps. Shrugs into some sort of rear delt extension. I'll try to wrap up on here. This is a common exercise forearms will give out. Get these to wraps. Oh. See, my forearms are gone. Now it's all wrapped. Oh. And you jump right into this. You want to talk about some size up top. That, all that up there, That's what everybody's missing out on. We're getting sweaty now.
I'm having trouble with my 911. Smoking your chest and I know it weigh heavy. I'm out of a ride, dog, you gotta come get me. Why she always talking like she understand me? I fuck with the nerds on stage, I go Lenny. I don't have family, so I keep a palace. My nigga Dave bought so many watches. I went and got one and I didn't even dial it. All of the niggas around me is humble. I beat the odds, so I'm more prima donna.
I have 2 pull days during the week. And the first one is back focus, which is what you saw today. And I'll only do 3 of those. On shoulder focus pull day, I'll do 6 sets of this when I get started. By the end of it, you don't even want to do the rest of the workout. It's tough. It's such an underutilized muscle. You never would use it in any other scenario other than weightlifting, unless you're like a construction guy or something and you're like hoisting bags over your shoulder. I don't know. So that hurts when you do it. I am not a construction guy. I'm a scientist. I work in a lab. I have no physical necessity for strength. It is purely aesthetic. Gosh dang it. Okay. There we go. Last one. There's 1 exercise left. It's really a superset. This is one of my secret keys. I do all these things I say all the time. You can build fat and lose muscle at the same time. A lot of people think that's purely pharmaceuticals, although those play a great advantage. There's one tactic at the end of every workout that has made it very easy for me. I haven't really seen any other science or fitness page that's been able to prove why this works. But at the end of every workout, I'll do 3 sets on the bike. It's not a lot of cardio, but for whatever reason, if I'm doing that, it rips.
Ooh, this should be hitting different.
Straight on to the bike. Now the key here, you don't really want to use your legs that much, mostly arms.
Ooh, we split.
One down. And what I'll do is 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do 100. You do that right after a bicep set with some decent weight, high reps, whatever the word is. I feel retarded. Like I said, cardio is not my specialty. You guys will come to see that, but it's a lot better on the mots-c, I'll tell you that. Because usually at this weight, I don't even think I would be doing cardio. Not even weight, probably body fat mass. I've been heavier than this and leaner, but ever since I did the Fox 04 experiment a couple weeks ago, or about a month ago now, I starved myself and I lost like 15 pounds doing that for science. And I've been trying to get all the weight back, but historically I don't gain weight very easy. So I've just been stuffing my face. And when you do that, you get a little bit of fat. Now I'm lucky enough now I have all these things I can take to mitigate that. When I used to go on bulks, I looked disgusting. My cardio is horrible. But now I'm lucky enough where I've gained probably 10 pounds back in the last month and it's still pretty lean. For me, gaining 10 pounds in a month is really freaking hard.
I was bored by the shit, made $1 billion. Now fuck that bitch, I need a trillion. Now fuck that bitch, I need to feel it. Made me so damn mad, made me feel it. I will never give time.
Yo.
I will never give for it. I will never give for about your real. Let your chick need a real. I'm an ass on the lead. Yeah, my money's so deep. And as far as I can tell, they want to say.
I usually end up counting these wrong. And my rule of thumb is if I don't know, then I go back to the last number I remember, which is usually on the 10s. So I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll get up to 20. And I'm like, am I at 30 or 20? After I do my next 10. I'm like, well, if I don't know, I gotta go back to 20. So sometimes being retarded can actually get you in better shape. If you put certain parameters around it. Weaponized retardation, coining that one. Rob the Bank has weaponized autism, which is also true. That shit's elite. I don't know what you would call it. Probably being a retard. We need a cooler word for being dumb. The retard has so many variations now. I need a word that actually just means being an idiot. Because being retarded, that could be something's really cool. Dude, that's retarded. That could mean really good. And then you could be like, dude, you're retarded. And that could be really bad. So I want to petition for a word that specifically means you're a freaking idiot. We need something new. You know, we haven't come up with a new slang word in decades. I think we've actually lost some. Now let's see if we can get working on that. Here we go. Speed, speed, speed. Oh, now they got the towels, Jay. Look over there. They got the towels. Now point the camera over there. Now they bring out the towels. And just like that, we're all done. Let's go pose it down.
My baby pull up and treat me. Margarita to my baby, my senorita. My mama said her con hard glasses on her. She could never ever see us taking Molly with the shrooms. Baby, got her in the bed. Spin a meal, baby, choke when I.
Now, all wrapped up. Now, this is where I usually look like a psychopath because I bring all of my various powders with me to the gym. There's quite a few that all go into my shake. And it's like, I guess this is why you have a gym bag. I never understand what people keep in these giant gym bags if they're not keeping these. Like, I could have all of these and my clothes. So 40 grams of carbs right after the workout. I'll usually bring my trusty honey that's covered in creatine. Sounds like someone's ripping ass. I wonder if they can hear that. Some construction going on at the gym today. I've got my marine collagen. For those of you on GHKCU, you have to make sure you're using collagen, otherwise the GHK has nothing to bind to. It is a collagen refiner. Too many people think it's a collagen producer. It does that a little bit, but its main job is to refine your collagen, so you have to feed it. And creatine, I will always be a proponent of. I usually do anywhere from like 10, 15 grams every day. A lot of people only do 5. I think the cognitive benefits I get from it in the 10 to 15 range far outweigh the 5 gram dose. 5 gram is mostly just going to your muscles. Dog got on that. I had a guest over last weekend. She brought her dog. She's like, oh no, he's fine. He doesn't do anything. Come back, there's powder everywhere. It's like, what the fuck is this? But you know I use that to my advantage. Oh man, this is such a mess. What am I? Holy, oh my gosh. What a problem this has created for me. No, I didn't do that. And then protein powder, of course. I usually do anywhere from 50 or 60 grams right after. And a lot of people say I eat too much protein. That's going to convert to fat. Well, not if you have the right mitochondria. And protein, when you eat too much of it, converts to carbohydrates. A lot of people didn't know that. But the only way it can get to that and not convert to fat is if you have the cellular energy necessary to convert the protein to carbohydrates. I think it's glycogenesis is the phrase. And if your cells have unlimited energy, like mine, who are powered by your NAD, your SS31, your mots-c, and everything I do to make sure my cells are that of like 10 men, I can do these things, eat giant quantities of protein, have it convert to carbs directly after a workout, and it's not going to go to fat. I mean, you guys just saw in the pose room, like I'm eating all this crazy excess protein, all this calorie surplus, and I'm still pretty lean. So, you know, although everyone in their science-backed opinions have these thoughts about the way it should work, I don't think anybody's looking at the way the mitochondria functions when they're describing these. I think they're looking at the average person when they make these assumptions. If you're using this stuff properly, you are far from average. Like, the whole point of this is to change your cellular and your molecular biology to be able to perform at super physiological levels. I'm gonna keep doing it because it's working. I don't have any sort of fact-based data to put forward to you to say that this is happening, but based on the mechanism of how the mitochondria and the cells in our body work, there's no reason that this can't happen. And if anyone has a counter argument to that, I'm still waiting to hear one. You know, I haven't really heard any actual data or science as to why this can't work, but a lot of people just make assumptions based on what would affect the regular population. This isn't crazy genetics. I actually have pretty shit genetics for building muscle. I'm skinny fat by nature, like bone skinny. And if I'm able to do this based on the stuff that I'm doing now, there's no reason anybody can't. So That's why I have this page. That's why I make these videos for you guys, so you guys can see all the crazy, wacky things that I try, and the ones that work, I'll tell you about, and the ones that don't work, I'll tell you about those too. So, until next time.